A very good morning to everyone. It's Friday. Yeah, we always like Friday, right? This is Doug Campbell with Right Way Options and your morning market preparation video for September 22nd, 2017. Well, last night we had, yesterday afternoon, I guess, late afternoon, that goofy little dude over there in North Korea decided to intensify his rhetoric against the United States. Now, apparently, we have a threat of a nuclear detonation over a waterway, ocean in some place, is, I guess, his next little endeavor that he intends to do. And of course, the U.S., it was in response to the U.S. Sanctions trying to cut off his money supply from everyone, in the world. So really, it's the world against North Korea right now, and when you have such a loose cannon, anything is possible, which obviously creates an awful lot of uncertainty for the market, and the market hates uncertainty. Now, right now, as of right now, the futures are trying to shake off this threat, almost in defiance of it, saying, "Hey, we're not going to get worried about this. We're not going to." We're not going to respond. But I have to think after such an amazing rally here, and yesterday, the market showing just a little bit of stress, not tremendous stress, that some profit taking today would just seems to be logical. It would not be out of the question ahead of an uncertain weekend. So when we take a look at the diamonds here, let's just forget about North Korea here for a second and look at the charts. We have a hanging man pattern, which on its own is not necessarily bearish, but it's a warning sign, followed by a bearish engulfing candle here on the diamonds. Now that does provide us with a little bit of concern. Now it doesn't suggest that the market's going to just fall off a cliff and this is all over. What it does say is what we should see a lower print today, and as of this morning, we will probably see a lower print this morning. That does not suggest we're just going to collapse. What we do want to do is set aside our bias and set aside our personal thoughts about what will happen and just focus on the price action, because clues will always provide themselves in price action if we can remove the emotion and remove our bias. So stay focused to that price action today. We could actually see the bulls just in absolute defiance say, you know what, we're going to rally today. I don't know what's going to happen, and I don't want to try and predict that, but I do want to follow price. Now, I will tell you that my normal course of action is I take profits, some profits on Friday. And to me, it would just be logical, as a full-time trader, I have to make consistent money. So it would be logical for a lot of folks to be in that situation and just look to take profits today with this little bit of uncertainty. Now, as we look at the SPY also showed a little bit of stress yesterday, kicking lower, Dragonfly Doji and a bearish candle here dropping out of our little box. It's not necessarily, again, suggesting that we're just going to collapse, and we have to stay focused on the fact that we are still trending. Okay, overall the trend is up, and there's layers of support in here that we can kind of utilize as a place, if we drop, that we will find a place to bounce off of, and that would just be a normal price correction in the market. So stay focused on price and just let the price lead you where the market wants to go. If we take a look at the Qs, now I do have a little bit of a concern here for the Qs. If you look back in history, and this is an incredibly strong trend. It's been going on for a long time. And notice we can dip below this trend. What's important, though, is if we dip below this trend, that we get a response right back. The problem with the day is we may not get that response back. And you can see the Qs. I'm expecting to open a little bit lower. We do have price support here, and we also have the 50-day moving average just right below there. So we could find our support right there and bounce off of it. So watch that real closely. If we start giving that up, we could see selling really intensify here. So be careful, be watchful, that this would be where we would expect a bounce, where we need to see a bounce. Any drop below here, close below the 50, would really not be very good for the overall market. It wouldn't necessarily, because see, we can do it. We can close below and come back, but we close below and hit the trend and rallied off the trend. We don't have that luxury here now. We've already dropped below this trend line, and of course, trend lines are a little bit arbitrary. You could move that around a little bit, but as you can see, we're starting to reach that point where there could be a little bit of trouble here for the Qs. So keep an eye on that. IWM stayed very, very strong yesterday, coming up here and kissing this high. Wasn't able to really push through, and saw just a little selling, just a spinning top doji, maybe just a little stress at the height, and may need a bit of a rest. My true bigger concern comes in the VIX. And the VIX, we're reaching these historic lows. If I take this back in time and go all the way back, look how low we are in the VIX here. If I go back even further, you can see we've reached points like this before. But notice when we reach points like this before, what has happened. So I'm not suggesting that we're going to fall, but I'm suggesting that what this does for me is tells me to be prepared for a potential of a quick reversal. Okay, and that's it. Just be prepared. We can stay down here. We can fall lower in this complacence, or in our fear. But please be prepared to, just in case. I'd rather be prepared than guessing or being caught flat-footed and not have a plan as what to do if we do see that spike in fear. So just keep an eye on it. All right. Let's take a look at the economic calendar. Our economic calendar today. Whoops, what happened here? Our economic calendar today. We have, 3 Fed speakers today, but really the only major thing on the list today is this PMI composite. And the PMI composite may see just a tiny little effect from the hurricanes, but they're expecting those numbers. Excuse me. Expecting those numbers to come in very strong. So nothing to fear in the news today, really. On the earnings front, we have just under 20 companies reporting earnings today. None of them would be what I would consider major. Now, KMX may be one of the most notable, and it looks like it may have actually already reported reports this morning. With such a strong move in some of these automotive areas, makes this kind of interesting to watch, and it looks like it may be gapping up just slightly here on its earnings report. So other than that, we don't have a whole lot going on, earnings-wise or economic news-wise. It's all going to come in that knucklehead over there in North Korea and what he's going to do over the weekend. So with that in mind, I want to suggest everyone be careful, be cautious, don't be overly long the market. If you find yourself being overly nervous or stressed about where you are, it's time to take some profits. Put a little money in the bank. Take some pressure off of that trade. For the cost of a commission, commissions are cheap nowadays. Don't let that greed of missing out prevent you from taking profits. If you want to be a full-time trader, Sometimes you just have to take profits, even into price strength, to take the pressure off of the trade so that you can feel more comfortable. So if you're very uncomfortable, if you're very nervous about where you are in the market, it might suggest that you're overly long and you need to take a little pressure off of that trade. So I want to wish everyone a fantastic weekend. Do me a favor, click those subscribe buttons and those thumbs up buttons and leave me a comment. I'd really appreciate it. Everyone, I want to wish you great profits, and I will see you all right back here Monday morning. Take care, everyone.